Tales of Dawn is one of my most popular stories on my channel, but what is its origin? There are so many videos that I've made that show what I had in mind at the beginning, but there are so many more that I haven't shown you yet. Tales of Dawn had many titles before it ended with the title it has now, and even then, that name was just a placement holder until I think of a better name, but it ended up sticking. Now, with all these different titles, there are so many different stories that went with it. Let's start with the first one. All the way to beginning before Tales of Dawn. The Crystal Hearts. I don't have pictures for the Crystal Hearts because I've moved so many times and things got lost. So I'm going to draw some pictures or at least some characters or maybe scenes to help show you what I'm talking about. So anyways. The Crystal Hearts was the first attempt and it was mostly like Kingdom Hearts. Like the whole story was supposed to be about the main pink hair character named Kiara. I think that's her name. I can't remember it. I know it starts with a K. Kiara had to travel around the world in search of her friends' crystal hearts that were stolen from them, which turned them into monsters. But that's about it. Haven't thought that far ahead. I think I was too scared that it was too similar to Kingdom Hearts, so I just scrapped it. Despite that, I did have ideas of characters. I don't remember what they look like, so I drew them based on how I remember how they acted. I know one was supposed to be really into money, so one who was like the princely type, so our charmer, the pretty boy and all that such. The bronze one, who's basically the calm, cool, collected one, but is also the muscles of the group. The edgelord, the main pink girl, who is basically just stereotypical main character, and the town's hero, the one who took all of those characters I previously mentioned in when they were kids. There's not much I did with it. I did try to start with it, but it ended very quickly because, like I said, I was afraid there was going to be too much like Kingdom Hearts. So, this is what I did start off with the story. The story starts off with Kiara dreaming about something. Frankly, I can't remember what it was about. Probably was something to do with her past, her dead parents or something, whatever. Anyways, she was sleeping and then she heard a loud sound. She ran downstairs just to be almost hit by flying knives. She respectfully told the gambling character that she could have gotten seriously hurt. She was then interrupted by the princely character that there was going to be a tournament, that they're training for the tournament, and if they win, they get a whole bunch of recognition and all that such. And they want her to be a part of it because, to be honest, her and the edgelord are the best fighters. Plus, if they win, they get a whole bunch of money. And that's it. I stopped there. There was no point. I wasn't feeling it. Which is sad because I actually do like the characters, especially now that I redrew them. I like how they look, and I really shouldn't put that much effort into characters that are just going to be scrapped. Damn, I can use them later. Don't worry. Anyways, since I decided to not continue on the story, I decided to scrap the whole thing and start anew. So why not making Kiara into a princess? Now, in this rewrite, the story is called The Sacred Gem. It was about a princess of dragons named Zoran, I know what a difference, who fell from her kingdom. Not like she fell from her title as princess, she literally fell from her kingdom in the sky. And this is where she meets Henry and Suma for the first time. But Suma had an entirely different name, and I don't know what his name was in this story. So I'm just gonna call him Suma for now. Henry and Suma were the ones who saved Zoran from crashing to the earth. Their original roles were that they were rangers out on a scout for food because for some odd reason, they were low on it. They also had this ferret that was going to be the animal companion for the group. Her original name was Chi or something. She wasn't going to talk. She wasn't a talking animal, so Zoran would translate everything she says. So basically the role reversal of Amber and Zora. So anyways, they caught her, brought her into town so they could help her. They brought her to a scholar that gave her a book that shows everybody what happened to her instead of telling them. I don't remember why they needed to see what happened instead of asking Zoran what happened, But it doesn't matter anymore because I stopped with the story because I felt like there was too much going on, too much information being thrown at you, so I scrapped the whole entire idea. Which is sad because I do have characters in it I like, again. But no matter what, it wasn't fitting in right. So I rewrote the beginning again, but I changed the title this time. I added new characters in the main cast, and there were beastmen. They are entirely a whole different type of story that I won't get into right now. I'll probably talk about them in a different story, who knows. I've also tried changing the setting from the castle in the sky or a town to a temple. The temple is old and run down. It used to be a place where the original guardian was. I think I made her a god here. Anyways, Henry and Suma went to the temple to search for something to help them purify their lands because it got corrupted. And the guardian there used to purify their lands a long time ago, but one day she disappeared. So they went there to look for something to help them, and then they found a floating gem. They grabbed the gem, and then Zora came out. I stopped writing. There were so many questions here that when I put the answers there, it didn't make sense to the whole story, and it just didn't feel right. So I wound up scrapping the entire thing again, and it sucks that I'm just getting really tired at this. So I had to sit there and tell myself, what is the story about? And it's just really simple. It's Zora's story. And this is how I came up with the title, Tales of Dawn. It was originally Story of Dawn, but Tales of Dawn sounded so much better, and I was inspired by the Tales of series, more specifically Tales of Mysteria as time went by. Anyways, the true reason for the title was basically to tell people what the story is about. It tells you the true story of Zora, but also the false story of Dawn. The beginning of her story was supposed to be both true and false. As years went by, Zora's backstory shifted into something else, into someone else. So, here's the story. Once upon a time, there was a princess born from the sun named Dawn. She brightens the kingdom from the darkness that creeps around with her light. But one day, she found a lost orphan boy, took him to a childless blacksmith family, and they raised him. But he would visit the princess often. As years went by, he grew more and more bigger, but he also grew to love the princess more and more. But the more he knew her, the more he realized the burden that the kingdom brought to her. The princess was trapped in her kingdom, unable to leave, so he made a promise to her that he will set her free. One day he left with that promise. He traveled far and long until he found a dark temple. A calm, gentle voice called out to him, telling him to come closer. There, in the middle of the room, was a sword surrounded with this ominous dark energy. The voice said it will help him get what he wants, but he needs to take the sword. He reached out and grabbed the sword. Many years later, the kingdom was attacked by a random stranger. The princess went to investigate what's happening, and then she saw an old friend. With a smile on his face but tears running from his eyes, he held out his hand and said, "Come with me, my princess. I'm here to save you." The princess would not take his hand, and they fought. But no matter what, neither one was going down. The princess knew that if this goes any longer, more people would die. So she made the ultimate sacrifice and killed her only friend. But in the end, it killed her as well. Alright, I'm just gonna wrap this story around because it's taking too long and I don't want to continue drawing all these extra detailed drawings for no entire reason, so I'm just gonna wrap this up. Turns out this is a story being told by the teacher of Henry and Suma, who I made tremendously younger. Why I thought it would be more interesting to have Zora teach a bunch of preteens how to fight instead of a bunch of nearly adults who should be good at it already. I also believe that Zora would be more welcome to children than adults. Anyways, after the teacher tells the story, they go off and into the rest of the museum. and Henry sees a crystal. He reaches his hand out and some liquid lands on his hands. He looks up and then he sees this lava girl, which is supposed to be Zora. There's more to the story, but it just gets more confusing and completely stupid afterwards, because here's the problem with this story. Why is Henry the only one who can see Zora right here? Why? I don't know. I thought about an explanation, but it just seems so stupid. Like a long time ago, his parents came in, used the gem once on him, and now because he has the power of Zora in him, he can see her. But it makes no sense, and I feel like it is so stupid. So I wind up just scrapping the entire thing anyways. I also don't have an explanation why Zora looks the way she does. No matter how nice it looks, no matter how cool she looks right now, it doesn't make sense. So I just wind up scrapping that entire idea. Now here's the split. He did try to get the gem because it interested him, but he was stopped and lectured about it. By the end of the entire thing, the teacher tells everybody to write a report of what they learned in the museum today. And Henry thought it would be a great idea to write the story about the gem. And even a greater idea, to break into the museum at night to steal the gem. Henry's a little brat in this one. I don't know what was the purpose of the gem, because when I think about it, like originally there was supposed to be a magical book that was supposed to tell you about everything, and if you get the gem, he can bring it to the book to get more information about it. But here's the thing, why haven't nobody tried that before? Why is Henry and Suma the first ones that thought about it? So I already know that was stupid. And that was not even the worst part. Here was the whole thing was supposed to be about. Henry and Suma was supposed to break into the museum just to discover they're not alone. There's a bunch of thieves there trying to steal the gem too. The gem was supposed to glow at this point when people are like fighting over it, and it just flies away, and it flies to a dragon that like activated and started blowing fire at the thieves. And when it looks at Suma and Henry, it transformed into little Zora for some odd reason. I don't know. I don't know why the statue turned into Zora. Like Zora turns from a dragon stone, and then she just needed a gem to power her up. I don't get it. I don't know why I wrote it that way. It makes no sense and it frustrates me. So I just wind up scrapping the whole thing because none of it makes sense. There's no answers to anything. It just keeps questioning things. So I just stopped and I'm just blowing my head off, just trying to figure out how to write this simple story about a dragon girl. I just needed to know what fits and what didn't. So I've made videos. The videos have always helped me see what certain scenes look like testing out how Zora's mother would have been like is she the easily excitable princess, or is she a strong young warrior with a strong sense of justice, or what would Zora being locked up be like, or the people who held her captive, are they doing this actually for her own good, or are they evil people? You know, stuff like that, just to see how certain things are supposed to look like. And if it's popular, I keep it. And even if it's not so popular, I like to keep the things that I like. Something that makes sense, I usually keep it. I went wherever my mind went. And the more I create, the more stuff gets added to the story. And then... Disney Villain Medley was the attempt to see how the pilot episode would have been like with all of the ideas that I like come together. I kept the Dragon Father and the Night Mother. I kept the good guys bad, sort of. I kept Zora trapped. I kept her being a princess in a sense. I even kept the demon friend / lover that Zora was forced to kill. And after seeing how everybody loved it, I kept going with this path. I still don't have everything straight in my story, but it's getting there. And I hope you guys can enjoy it with me. Creating a story is so hard. I had to keep rewriting and rewriting and rewriting that it gets tiring after a while, but I can't say it's unnecessary. After all the rewrites I had a lot of good ideas and characters I also love so much. I don't throw out all of my characters, I store them away until I can use them again. Maybe one day they can be cameos. Thank you for watching my video. I hope everybody enjoy it, and bye!